Hello, everyone. I am Rosie Reynolds, and I'm super excited to be here. I hate Las Vegas, but I love brand innovators. So I'm really thrilled, despite having to be in Las Vegas, to be here. And yes, we will be talking about AI again. I think everyone will be talking about AI this entire week, but we're talking about AI and IRL, which I think is what all of us are actually most concerned about. So I'm super excited to be here with Lisa. And to kick us off, I would love for you to give us a quick introduction and tell us a little bit about your role at Match Group.
Sure. Thank you so much, Rosie. I'm actually excited about being here. It's great to be out of LA in the rain. So I'm actually happy to be at CES, and I'm really excited about the topic today. So my background spans marketing and general management roles across CPG, technology, media, and nonprofit. Companies like Intuit in the Silicon Valley, media companies, NBC Universal, Viacom, and then two startups that ended up exiting at over $1 billion, two IPOs. So kind of a blend of big companies managing at scale and growth companies. And I think the through line to my experience is I'm really passionate about consumer insight and how technology can solve problems. And that's why I'm really excited about AI. I work for Match Group now, and I work on growth businesses, helping us scale growth businesses. So I'm very focused right now on the League, which is our sort of our luxury property in the portfolio, which is designed for busy professionals and busy successful professionals. So we're doing a lot with AI in order to create better connections with people and get people out and connecting faster.
I love that. And I love that we're focusing on where the value of AI meets the critical
Yeah.
experience of in person,
Yeah.
because I think that's really what's so top of mind for everyone in the room. When people talk about AI and human connection, they often frame it as a trade off. How do you see that relationship a little bit differently?
Yeah, I think that's a mistake. I don't think it's either or. I mean, we really have a human first strategy around AI. The AI should be in the background, helping to better curate, to better connect people. So it's not, we don't look at AI as a forward facing consumer application. We really look at it as in the background, helping to clear the path for real world connections.
And I think that's comforting to hear. I think we all want to make sure that the people we're talking to are who they say they
Yeah.
are, and that it still
Yeah.
is a person first, especially
Yes.
when you're trying to find a partner. I
Yes.
think that's really important. What do you think that most consumer tech companies are getting wrong when they're thinking about applying AI to human-centered experiences?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are making mistakes by optimizing for scale first versus optimizing for outcome. So, we really look at it at the end of the day, are these tools, now AI, helping us to get people connected faster and better? So I think really looking at what the outcome is, not just the efficiency around AI.
Yeah, and I think that, I mean, at the trade desk, a lot of what we're doing is looking for efficiency,
Yeah.
right? Like, we really want to get you the
Yeah.
right person in the right moment for
Right.
the right price.
Right.
But we're also switching more towards effectiveness.
Yes.
And I think that that's really
Yes.
what you guys are doing
Yes.
is less about as many as possible and more
Right.
about the quality.
Right.
You've said that AI should remove friction, not replace connection. What does that actually look like in practice?
So it looks like AI working in the background. So taking data in order to better curate the experience. So, for example, at the League, you get a small set of potential matches every day, and that's highly curated. And we're using AI to do that in order to provide you with a better experience.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense. I love that the League is a really intentional audience. I think that that's, from what I've heard, I am
Yes.
married right now,
Yes.
but very
Yes.
unique when it comes to dating. Like, you
Yeah.
really want to make sure that you're finding someone who has your
Yeah.
same goals. Tell us a little bit more about this audience. Would love to know how that shaped AI's role in dating and relationships when you're specifically thinking about the person that's right for the League.
Sure. Yeah. So the League audience they're busy, successful professionals that are intention based. They want a long term relationship, but they're very time constrained, and they don't want to sit around swiping for hours on end. So the League experience is curated by AI and then provides potential matches, just a very small set per day. And we believe that that is utilizing AI to create better connections. So you're getting a much more curated experience, and you're reducing friction, you're improving quality.
Do you feel like it's working? Like, are people happier
Yes.
with the matches?
Yes. And I think, we did just a recent event with Porsche in LA, and it was amazing. And if you're ever in LA, it's worth the experience. The event included being able to be paired up with somebody and drive around with a professional driver and drive around the racetrack. So it was a great event. A lot of people matched and connected. But how we curated that event, we used AI. So we have our members' data, and we curated, based on a variety of, age and life stage and intent. So by the time the people reached the event, there was no technology. The technology stopped at the door, and then the human connection came in. So people weren't checking their phones. They weren't doing anything. They were old-fashioned meeting people. But the crowd was curated by AI and by intention. And I think that's very, very powerful.
I love that. I wish you would do that for like best friend matches.
Yeah,
that sounds really cool.
Yeah.
I think that's a really great example. Are you constantly like tweaking how you're matching people? Like, how often are you editing and updating how AI is impacting matches?
Yeah, constantly.
Like an algorithm?
Yeah, constantly, yes. The algorithms, but also there's a lot of work going on throughout Match in terms of how can we make AI improve the experience with the pure focus on how do we improve the outcomes. So really kind of you can get lost in the sea of data of clicks and in the funnel and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, are we connecting people better because of AI?
And I think that leads perfectly to the next question, which is, what does success look like for a dating app? I met with someone from the Match group last month for lunch, and they told me, we want to lose users.
Yeah.
We want people to match, and we want to not retain people, which I don't think anyone here agrees with unless you're a dating app.
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty fascinating. So what does success actually look like? Is it engagement, time in app?
It is connection. So it is, our people meeting other people that they like? Are they going on great dates? Are they connecting? Are they leaving the app because they're now in a relationship? It is an interesting paradox that success for us is actually losing a customer. But we believe that if we provide that experience, then the word of mouth will create a big community for us. So we're very focused on the outcome. So success looks like a match.
I love that. The example of the Porsche experience, I think, is really cool. Can you tease out any other experiences that you've been thinking about for 2026 or any other successful ones from the past year?
Sure. So our strategy in 2026 is really merging IRL and AI. And so these events are sort of the human-facing element of that. We did another one in New York with Blade, the helicopter company. So, sort of these big, splashy, high-end events, but the magic of it really is the human connection. And I think how AI can power that and help us is very, very interesting. So that's what we're very focused on, is this merge. How do we use AI in order to create better human connections?
Awesome. So you've talked about limiting introductions instead of maximizing, which sounds challenging. What's working? Why did that work? And why do you guys feel so confident in your ability to make those matches?
Yeah, it's a great question. The curation element really sets us apart. So if you're not single, I will tell you, when you're on the lake, it's not a swipe app. You don't just swipe through millions of profiles. You get a very, very curated batch. And we believe for our audience that our audience doesn't want to spend a lot of time. They're time constrained. And there's sort of this paradox of choice. We believe that if you give people too many options, they then become less intentional. With a curated set of options, you get more depth. People pay more attention, and we feel like that's resulting in successful matches.
I feel that. Yeah, I feel like all of us are pretty strapped for time, especially those taking their first week of the year here.
Yeah.
Switching a little bit to the hybrid of future consumer experiences and kind of where you think the industry is going, not just dating apps. How do you think the best consumer brands will blend AI and real world experiences over the next few years?
Yeah, I think it's what we talked about. I think it's not just optimizing or utilizing AI for efficiency, which is great. But for us, that's sort of the back room element. And we're using AI in a lot of different functions. But when it comes to the human connection, I think brands would be smart to really focus on the outcome, not just engagement is a big metric, but in this case, in human-facing tech, engagement isn't always the success metric. We actually want people to spend less time on the app and get off the app and connect with people. So I think moving from efficiency, viewing AI as an efficiency, just solely an efficiency element and strategy, into what is the human part of this as a consumer marketing that AI is helping to power, and what are your outcomes?
I think that's good advice. How should brands? Might wait a second. You kind of mentioned this a little bit about what you should be looking at when judging the success of AI, but how should brands think differently about metrics when AI is involved in personal decisions? So not just efficiency, but that personal piece to it.
Yeah, I think we focus a lot on that. We do a lot of research around how are people feeling. It's getting into the actual essence of what it's putting the numbers aside. I mean, I feel like in my mind, the best metrics are not on my dashboard that I see every day. It's seeing how people are connecting, how they're feeling about the experience, how at the end of the day, do they feel more confident? Do they feel like their time was well spent? Are they achieving their goals by being a member of our brand and our community?
Yeah, I think that is clear, and I think that that's a really special place that the league is really curating. What's exciting you most about where human connection and AI are headed?
I think I think the dating apps are. I think there's a issue with human loneliness and connection there, and there's a lot been written about that. But what excites me is a solution for people who are looking to meet somebody and are busy and don't want to be just cast out in the sea of sort of fumbling around. We're really providing solutions to help human connections, and we believe that is great for the individual, and we believe it's great for communities. And so we really feel like it's the higher goal is really kind of solving the loneliness problem and using technology to help do that.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful way to connect back to a bigger outcome.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us are in advertising and media and we're not saving the world.
Yeah.
And I think that that's something I personally struggle with in the world of programmatic. I'm not saving the world, unfortunately. But I do think helping with loneliness, helping to build communities, helping to help busy professionals who don't have another outlet to meet someone is really a unique role for the league to play. So I think that that's not necessarily the feel-good moment that you need, but it's one that you can really ground yourself to, and I think it's special.
Yeah, I think all brands have that. All brands have a consumer connection somewhere, and I think the smart brands will figure out how AI can help their consumer in that moment and really be focused more on the outcomes and less on the efficiency metrics.
Yeah, absolutely. We spoke a little bit earlier, and my first comment was, I think that a lot of people worry about AI and that anyone can use AI to build their dating profile, but who's actually going to show up at the first date? Or how will you know that they're being authentic when their grammar might look perfect on their profile and then they show up and they're speaking in the wrong tense or whatever it is that's extreme. But you gave a really good response to me, and I think everyone else will appreciate it. But how do you feel about that and how AI could have an impact on who's actually showing up for your date?
It's a great question. And what I said to Rosie earlier was we face that now, even before AIs. Someone puts up a picture of them 20 years ago or 20 pounds ago, so they're putting a picture to the world, or they write things that aren't authentic. So I think authenticity is important, and we coach. We give that coaching when you're in the community to be authentic. You want to show up and be the person that the other person thinks that they're meeting. So I don't think AI changes that. I think we have a responsibility to help people show up authentically, and we're really working on that, because the more authentic you are in the app connection, the more the probability is higher that you're going to have success, because you're going to show up and the person's going to meet the person that you are.
Absolutely. And I loved that answer, and it made perfect sense to me. So I wanted Lisa to share it with you all. Pivoting a little bit away from AI since we have more time.
Yeah.
What are the other areas? You're running everything basically at the league from a marketing perspective. The last session they talked about what they were moving away from if they lost 15% of their budget.
Yeah. What
are the things that you're doubling down on, and what are the things that you're deprioritizing when it comes to marketing for the league?
That's a great question. I think that I sit in the center of product and marketing and experience. So I think we're really moving toward the experience piece of it, and that's not necessarily doing a ton of experiential things. It's doing more thinking about the actual process. So it's, I think we're deprioritizing acquisition, sort of rote acquisition, and we're really prioritizing what are creative ways that we can get out there and get to people to know this brand into our community and get connected. So I think it's a shift away from, sort of very rote pay for play things and really getting to more authentic connections.
What have you tried that hasn't worked, and how have you pivoted?
What have we tried that hasn't worked? I think one-offs have been very difficult for us. We have a very specific audience. So it's like kind of like if a tree falls in the forest, does anyone hear it? So that we haven't been successful with. And so we've pivoted to really everything that we do ladders up to one or two big marketing objectives, that are just discussed in terms of connection. So we really aren't doing sort of one-off things anymore. We swept all that out. Some of the activations are great, but they just need to be laddered up to an overall objective.
Makes sense. We also spoke in the last session about walled gardens.
Yeah.
The social platforms.
Yeah.
Obviously, I live outside in the open internet world.
Yeah.
How do you think about your general approach to digital media? And when you're thinking about the league, I assume these people are not hanging out on Snapchat and Instagram all the time.
Yeah.
So how much does social media play a part of it? How much are you thinking about CTV?
Yeah.
And things like that?
It does. I mean, we have a CTV spot running right now. We always are trying to find out this audience where they are. And actually, Instagram is a good channel for us. And what we focus on there is really the lifestyle element, showcasing who's in our community and showcasing sort of our product features and the things that we're doing with AI in order to show people what a vibrant community it is and the differentiation of having a curated match. It's a membership. You have to apply for membership. But once you're in, showing the benefits of that. So I think, we're looking at all platforms. Instagram is a big one. We're wading into CTV as well. But we're really focused on where this audience is.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it's nice to give them a little sneak peek since it is gatekept, against that entrance. What have you brought from your most recent job before the league? You listed a ton of places you've been involved in, multiple exits. What do you think you've brought from there to the league specifically that's been successful? And what do you think the biggest surprise has been since joining?
I think consumer insight, that's sort of my thing, my sweet spot. So really coming in and really understanding this audience, who they are and what they want. So I work very closely with product. So that has product implications. We have a customer service, the experience of it, that all sits with me. And I think I brought consumer insight in and helped figure out how we get that consumer insight reflected in everything that we're doing. I think that's been a big differential.
What's an example of how you're using this consumer insights, or how are you using your first party data?
We use it all the time. We use it in our messaging. We use it in our imagery. We use it in all of our creative. We use it in the events. The events are highly curated, but all with the idea of how do we get to this audience and how do we create this experience that they're going to want to join.
Yeah, you really want them to want it, which is interesting. Obviously, AI is the sexy buzz, exciting thing right now. What do you think is next? What do you think is going to be the next thing people are talking about?
I think it is the shift from thinking about AI. I think there's a lot of fear around AI. AI is going to take jobs. It's going to cut, take my job, take somebody else's job. I think getting past the fear of it, anytime we've had a big technology shift, there's always this fear in the beginning about, this isn't going to work and how's this? And I think that will settle down a bit and people will start doing kind of what we're doing is really thinking about it from a human first lens. And, the fear dissipates and you start looking at opportunities. And I think it will, in our case, it will be human first, maybe AI powered. And I think that will help our experience.
Yeah, I think all of us get a question about, well, how is your company using AI?
Yeah.
Or how are you not using
Yeah.
AI? And it's a question we get asked a lot at the trade desk because I
Yeah.
think people feel like they should ask it
Yeah.
and they want to know how AI is involved for better or for worse.
Yes.
And so I think like one of the reasons I was excited about this topic is AI and IRL and how those come together because
Yes.
people are scared.
Yes.
Whether it's losing jobs or losing authenticity or whatever it might be, I
Right.
think that there is a lot of fear. And especially, again, when it comes to your partner,
Yes.
it's the time where human connection matters most.
Yes.
So needing that real moment,
Yes.
being powered by AI can
Yes.
be a little scary. So I
Yes.
think it's really good to
Yes.
give that perspective.
Yeah. That connection is everything. But that connection will always be human. You know, we can help get people to the room or to the date. But at the end of the day, the technology, once you're on the day, once you're in the room, the technology fades away. And it's not AI anymore. It's a human connection that's going to get people where they want to go.
Awesome. Obviously, CES starts at the beginning of the year. What are your big priorities for the year to come? What are your 1, 2, and 3 goals?
Yeah, I think curating, better curation constantly. We're constantly trying to figure out how do we get people, like-minded people together. How do we use the data that we have in order to do that? How do we create events and opportunities for them to connect? I think it's really focused on blending AI with IRL in a hybrid manner.
And what are you most excited about?
I'm really excited about the AI piece. I think we're in the very nascent stages of it. But the idea that this can help us really help people make the most important connection of their life, and in the process feel more calm. AI can help reduce the anxiety, the sort of emotional clutter of it really helps sort of in the back sort and sift and present people with great options. I'm really excited about how we will use that data in order to do that.
The data piece is interesting to me since you said some of the best data doesn't live on a dashboard.
Yeah,
I think that's like music to all my clients' ears, like from your lips to their ears, really. So what are you looking at for success? If it's not the data, like how are you balancing that qualitative and quantitative when it comes to AI?
Yeah, I mean, there are some quantitative signals that we look at that help us answer that question. How many dates are people going on? You know, are they going on second dates? You know, are they leaving the app? We survey when people leave the app and stop their subscription. You know, have you met somebody? So we really look at, sort of the behavior of our members and this as a success metric. And that part is quantifiable.
Yeah. And I think you're lucky that you can do that. And hopefully they're honest and hopefully they're all leaving with a match.
Yeah.
If you could leave the audience with one idea about building more human-centered technology, what would it be?
I think I would say design for after the algorithm. Do all the work with AI and other new technologies, but design for the experience that you want your consumer to have after that. Have you left them feeling more connected, more confident? If you have, then you're on the right path.
And what would you say for those that are afraid to test out AI? Like, how would you give them the confidence to try out some of these more controversial approaches or less about the algorithm and more about in front of you?
I think for us, the consumer doesn't interface with AI. It's still all human connections. So I don't think it's any different. It's just better. So I think, experimenting, trying it, just get in there and see what happens. But I think for us, AI really doesn't. AI is behind the scenes and it doesn't really affect the consumer, except for providing a better experience.
What do you think from the marketer perspective? Because I think in the room there are a lot of marketers and people are afraid to enter too much AI without their consumers maybe being turned off to it. So it's happening behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But how would you recommend they dip their toes into bringing more AI into either their back end or their front end?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, and we are trying and testing things. And we looked at a variety of things, but I think that is important. I think testing into it. We do a lot of consumer research. We show consumers things that we're thinking about. I would advise testing into experiences and seeing what the human feels about that experience. Because if you describe something like AI. It feels mysterious. It feels out of touch. But when you break it down and create a real life experience, I think that's when you can get the data. Is that something that people are going to like or not?
Yeah. Hopefully that's inspiring to you all, those that are maybe hearing a buzzword
Yeah.
and not necessarily knowing where to go with it. I think
Yeah.
that, again, we at the trade desk are constantly, everyone's asking about AI. And I'm sure it's going to get mentioned on every single stage. All of CES, it should
Yeah.
probably be like the consumer electronics and AI
Yeah.
show at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
But hopefully this gave you some insight into how the league is really using it to power their platforms, but also keep that human authenticity,
Yes.
which is really so important and so core
Yes.
to everything it seems like
Yes.
you've been doing. Any last leaving remarks on confidence building with AI? I feel like you've hopefully given everyone at least a peek into how successful it really can be.
Yeah, I think I'm just really excited that it could be used for good. You know, it
Yes.
could power positive human connections. I think we all need that, regardless of what kind of brand you may be working on. I think at the end of the day, if you can harness this really powerful technology in order to create better human connections, I think that's a big win.
Absolutely. And I think all of us at the end of the day want to be contributing to the larger
Yes.
good.
Yes.
So if we can do so
Yeah.
by embracing
Yes.
technology,
Yes.
then hopefully everyone will feel really productive and hopeful for the year to come.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Lisa.
Thank
It was a
you,
really great
Rosie. It was
conversation.
great.